Dear student, in previous video we have seen about the common term for the spherical mirror. In that the principal axis means the line joining the pole and the center of curvature called the principal axis. Then pole, it's the center of the spherical mirror. Then the apertures means the effective diameter of the spherical mirror. Center of curvature means it's a hollow glass sphere of which the mirror was part. That is center, it's called the center of curvature. Then the radius of curvature means the distance between the pole and the center of curvature. Then we see about the focus. In the focus, the point on the principal axis where all the parallel light ray actually meet or it's gonna to appear to the meet after the reflection, that we consider as a focus. Then the distance between the pole and the focus, that we consider as a focal length, which is denoted by the small f. Now let's see the relationship between the focal length and the radius of curvature, that is of f is equal to r by 2. Later on we have seen about the rules for the making a ray diagram by the spherical mirror. The first rule, that the parallel to the principal axis, the ray which is parallel to principal axis, after the reflection they all are met at the f, means the focus. The second rule, that is the ray passing through the principal focus of a concave mirror or a ray which is directed towards the principal focus of the convex mirror, after the reflection they emerge the parallel to the principal axis. Then after we see the third rule, in that the ray which is passing through the center of curvature of a concave mirror as well as the convex mirror, they after the reflection they choose the same pathway. Then after the fourth rules, that is the ray incident obliquely to the principal axis towards the point P, means if the ray is passing through the point P, incident on the point P means the pole, then the reflected angle and the incident angle both are the same. Then we see some of the ray diagram for the image formed by the concave mirror. In that, some of the cases that if we are keep the object at the infinity, then where we get the image. So if we are keeping our object at the infinity, then we get the image at the focus. So the image position at the focus, nature of the image, that is real and inverted, and the size, that is pointed size and the highly diminished. The second one, that is of when we are keeping our object beyond the C, then we get the image on the between the C and the F, and the nature of the image is inverted and it is a real one, and the size, that is a diminished one. The third condition that we have seen, that is when we keep our object on the C, then we get the image on the C, it is the same size, real and the inverted. Then the fourth condition, if we keep our object between the F and C over here, then we get the image on the beyond the C, and which is a real and the inverted, and as compared to the object it is a enlarged one. Then the last one, not the last but the second last, when the object is placed at the F, if we are keeping our object on the focus, then we get the infinitive, means it is a totally inverted to the first case, means if we are keeping the object at the infinity, then we get the image at the F. But here if we are keeping the object at the F, then the image we get at the infinity. At the last one, when the object is between the P and the F, in that condition, here you can see, here we are keeping our object between the F and the P over here. So the one ray that is directly pass through the C, center of curvature, so the reflection back is also occur in the same pathway. And the second one, that is the ray which is passed through the, which is incident on the P, so it is reflected back with this direction, because the if as we see in the rules, that if any ray is incident at the point P, then whatever the incident angle is generated from the principal axis, the reflected angle are, these both are the same. So this is go this direction, this ray reflected back this direction, and this ray is reflected to this. So there is no chance to meet this both the ray at each other. So if we see if we draw the imaginary line behind the mirror, then we find out that it is meet at the A dash point. Means if we make the A dash B dash, then we get the image behind the mirror. So the image position, which is behind the mirror, nature of the image is virtual, because here no actually rays meet with each other. It is just appear. We feel that if we draw the ray diagram, imaginary line, then we find out that it is maybe over here. So the nature of the image is virtual, and the image, it is a erect one. Here you can compare with the object and the image. So we get the size of the image that is of enlarged than the object. Now the next one, that use of concave mirror, means this concave mirror where we can use. So it is used in the torch, searchlight, and the vehicle's headlight to get the power parallel beam of the light. This concave mirror is mainly used for the making of the torch, a searchlight, and the vehicle's headlight. Why it is useful? Because it gets the powerful parallel beam of the light. So we can easily see the object. That's the reason it is used in the torch, searchlight, vehicle's headlight to get the powerful parallel beam of the light. The second one, that the concave mirror are used by the dentist to see the larger image of the teeth of the patient. And in this case, the object means the teeth, which have to be a place between the pole and the focus. Why the pole and focus? So we get the enlarged image, and the doctor can easily rectify the problem. So the second use, the concave mirror are used by the dentist to see a large image of the teeth of a patient. Teeth have to be a place between the pole and the focus. Now the third one, that concave mirror is used as saving mirror to see a larger image of the face. So the third use, it is also used for the saving mirror. Why? Because it gives the larger image of the face. That's why. The fourth number, the large concave mirror are used to concentrate the sunlight to produce a heat in a solar furnace. The large concave mirror is generally used to concentrate the sunlight at a particular point. So we get the maximum heat or maximum temperature. So in that condition also, this large concave mirror are used. Large concave mirror are used to concentrate a sunlight to produce a heat in a solar furnace. Let's revise one more time the uses of a concave mirror. The first use of concave mirror, that it is used in a torch, searchlight, vehicles, headlight to get the powerful parallel beam of the light. The second one, that the concave mirrors are used by the dentist to see a larger image of the teeth of the patient. Teeth have to be placed between the pole and the focus. Third one, that a concave mirror is used as a saving mirror to see a larger image of the face. The fourth one, that the larger concave mirror are used to concentrate the sunlight to produce heat in the solar furnace. Now let's see the next topic, that is ray diagram of image formed by the convex mirror. Previously we see the ray diagram of image which is formed by the concave mirror. Now we will see about the convex mirror. So the first condition, in that we are keeping our object at the infinity. So in that case, where we get the image, that we have to see. So in the case of the convex mirror, we are keeping this object at the infinity. Then this all the rays that comes from the infinity, which is parallel to the principal axis. But here the convex mirror is there, which is diverse one. So all the ray, it is reflected back with this direction, and from each direction you can see they all the rays cannot meet with each other. So if we draw the imaginary line at the behind the mirror, then we can see that these all the rays are meet at the one point, that is the focus. So we get the image behind the mirror at the F. So the image position that we get from the for the if we are keeping our object at the infinity, then we get the image at the F, means the focus, same as a concave. But here not the same size, same side. Here we get the image at the back side of the mirror. And another thing, that it is not actually meet, it is an imaginary line. So the nature of the image, as the actual meeting of the ray is not occur, so it is a virtual one, and the image that is of erect. We are talking about the size, then here you can compare. This is our object and the size of this image is very small, or you can say the pointed size, or you can say the diminished one. Let's revise one more time. If we are keep our object at the infinity, this is our object, we kept it as an infinity. So all the rays which is come from the infinity, which is a parallel to the principal axis. So these two rays are come from the infinity. So you can see this both they are parallel to the principal axis. Here the mirror is convex mirror. That's why it is a diverse one. So this ray get reflected back to this direction. This both the ray. So there is no chance to meeting with each other. This ray, because both the direction of this because both the ray direction is a different one. They can't meet with each other. But if we are image means if we are draw the imaginary line and straight it out, then we can find that this both the ray which is met at the F, means the focus. So by that we can give the answer that the image position that we find, which is at the F, if we are keeping our object at infinity. Nature of the image, it's a virtual. Why virtual? Because here the actual meeting of the ray is not occur. It's an imaginary line. So it is a virtual one, and it is erect in nature, and the size, it is a pointed, means the very diminished. The next condition, when the object is placed between the pole and the infinity, means we have to kept our object between the P and the infinity. Suppose we are keeping our object over here. So the one ray that is a parallel to the principal axis, so it goes same this direction, but at the behind the mirror, which is passing through the F. And the second one, that which is passed through the C, so that reflected back with the same pathway. So if we draw this imaginary line, then this both the line which is met at the between the P and the F, this one A dash B dash, that's our image. So the image position which is between the P and the F. And if we are talking about the nature, as we discussed the previous case, that here not actually meeting of the rays occur. It is an imaginary line draw, and then wherever both the ray are intersect, at that we get the image. So it is a virtual one, and here you can see it is a erect one. And as compared to this object, the size of image is very small. So we can write down the size, it's a diminished. Let's one more time revise. If we are keeping our object at the pole and the infinity, then we get the image between the P and the F, and the nature of the image, it's a virtual and the erect, and size. So as compared to object, it is a diminished or very small in size. A full length of image of a tall building or a tree can be seen in a small convex mirror, where we can use it a full length of image of a tall building. If we want to see all the structure in a mirror, means it covers the larger area. A full length of image of a tall building and a tree can be seen in a small convex mirror. Now let's see the uses of a convex mirror. The first one, that a convex mirror are used as a rear view mirror in a vehicle because they always give an erect through a diminished image. The convex mirror is used as a rear view mirror in the vehicle. Why? Because it's always give the erect image and as well as diminished area. The second one, that they have a wider field of view as they are curved outwards. It's covered the wider area because it is curved of the outer surface. That's why it able to cover the maximum area. So the first use of a convex mirror, that convex mirror are used as a rear view mirror in a vehicle because they always give an erect through the diminished image. Second, they have a wider field of view as they are curved outwards. Now let's see the second uses of the convex mirror. The convex mirror are used at blind turns and on a point of margin traffic to facilitate vision of both the side traffic. As we discussed whenever I explain in on green board at that time, that the convex mirror are keep the both the side where the surprise turn is there or dangerous turn are there. So the both the side the vehicle can see the traffic. So the convex mirror are used at a blind turns, or you can say the surprise turn or a dangerous turn, and on point of a margin traffic to facilitate the vision of the both the side traffic. So according to that, they can easily take the decision. The third use, that it is used in a shop as a security mirror. As I already explained in the green board explanation part, that suppose this is the here the counter area where the shopkeepers are sit, and so he kept mirror on this side, so it cover all the shop. They can easily sit at his place and easily can observe the all the movement which is occurring in the shop. So it is also used in a shop as a security mirror. Let's one more time revise uses of a convex mirror. The convex mirror are used as a rear view mirror in the vehicle because they always give an erect through a diminished image. Second one, that they have a wider field of view as they are curved the outer ones. The second use, that the convex mirror are used at a blind turns and on a point of a margin traffic to facilitate a vision of both the side traffic. So they can easily see the both the side traffic and take the decision accordingly. The third one, that it is used in a shop as a security purpose. Now let's move further. The next topic, it's a sign convention for reflection by the spherical mirror. The first one that the object is placed to the left of the mirror. As we see in all the figure, in that we always keep our object at the left side of the mirror. The second one that all the distance parallel to the principal axis are measured from the pole of the mirror. Means we have to measure all the distance which is parallel to the principal axis are measured from the pole to mirror. Pole of the mirror. The third one that all the distance which is measured which is in direction of incident ray along with the x-axis are taken as a positive, and those measured against the direction of the incident ray, then we have to consider it as a negative. I will explain in a figure so you can easily understand. The fourth one that the distance measured a perpendicular to and above the principal axis are taken as a positive. The last one that a distance which is measured a perpendicular to and below the principal axis are taken as a negative. Now let's see in the figure so you can easily understand. Draw one perpendicular from the P. We have to divide this all the thing into the four section. So as we already see that all the object that we have to keep at the negative left side. This is the left side of the mirror. So if we are going towards the left side from the pole, means from this direction, then we have to consider as a negative. But if we are going from pole to right side, then we have to consider it as a positive one. Same like this is for the side right and left, same like the upper and lower portion. Suppose if we are consider this height of the object, it is the upper direction. So in that case we have to consider it as a positive. Suppose an image is formed at the downwards of the principal axis, then this height we have to consider in a negative manner, means the -1 we have to consider. Now let's see again, after the seeing this image you can easily understand. The first one that the object is placed to the left of the mirror. The second one, all the distance parallel to the principal axis are measured from the pole of the mirror. Third one that all the distance measured in the direction of incident ray are taken as a positive, and those measured against the direction of an incident ray are taken as a negative. The fourth one that distance measured the perpendicular to and above the principal axis are taken the positive, and which is the below the principal axis that we have to consider negative. Let's one more time see the image. This portion we consider, if we are going from the left side, then we consider right positive. If we are going to the right side, then we consider it as a if we are going to the left to the this mirror, then we consider to negative. If we are going distance towards the right, then we have to consider positive. If we are going the upward direction, consider as a positive. If we are going a downward direction, we have to consider negative direction. In that, generally object distance means here our object is there, AB is our object. So from the P to B, we have to move forward to the left side. So our U we have to taken as a negative. Here you can see U means the distance between the object and the pole. That is a U. It's always negative. If we are talking about the focal length of a concave mirror, focal length means a distance between the pole and the focus that we consider as a focal length. In the concave mirror, the focal length is over here. So also we have to take as a negative. But In the convex mirror, we are getting the image at the back side over here. So in that condition, we have to consider the positive. U is always negative. Focal length, concave mirror means the small f, it is negative. And the focal length of a convex mirror is always positive. Now let's see the next one, that is of mirror formula. The mirror formula means 1 by V plus 1 by U is equal to 1 by F, where the V means the image distance from the pole to image, U means pole to object, distance between the pole to object, that is considered as a U, and the small f means the focal length, the distance between the P and the F, that we consider as a focal length. So this is the mirror formula. Once more time, it's a very important formula because most of the question, most of the sums in that we have to use this formula. So 1 by V plus 1 by U is equal to 1 by F, where the V is equal to image distance, U is equal to object distance, and the F is equal to focal length. The next one, that is a magnification of a spherical mirror. Now what is the magnification? Magnification means it is the ratio of the height of the image to the height of the object. Means M is equal to, we can write down that the height of the image divided by the height of the object. Here the height of the image that we denoted by the HI, and the height of the object we are denoted by the HO. For the spherical mirror M, as we see that U is always negative and V is, so the M is equal to minus V by U. If we are getting the M is a negative, then always remember the image is real one. Kindly write down this in your notebook because it's a very important question, and directly ask that M is equal to minus 2, then the nature of the image dash. So you can easily write down accordingly. If the M is negative, means the M value is minus 2. It is a negative value, so the nature of the image, it will be a real. Suppose the M value given a positive, means the M is equal to 2, and as that write down the nature of the image of spherical mirror, then it is always we get the virtual one. Suppose if the HI is equal to HO, then the M is equal to 1. That means the image is equal to the object. Then we have to remember in which case we are getting the image same as a object, and if asked that where the object is kept, so we get the equal size image, then the answer is C. Only one condition we get the same size image, that is of C. If we are keeping our object at the C, means the center of curvature, in that condition we get the equal size of object, equal size of image. So if the HI is equal to HO, then the M is equal to 1 and the image is equal to the object. The next one, that if HI is a greater than HO, then the M is equal to greater than 1, means the image is enlarged one. To get the image enlarged one. The last one, that if the HI is a HO is a greater than the HI, then the M is equal to less than the 1. So the image is a diminished. Kindly prepare these 5 points very carefully, because from these 5 sentences so many questions will arise. Now, if we are talking about the magnification of a plane mirror, then we get always plus 1. Here we get M positive. That means we get the image virtual one as the second point, as we see. And in the plane mirror, if you remember that we get the virtual image at the back side of the mirror. So the magnification of a plane mirror is always +1. Here the plus sign which is indicate the image nature which is a virtual one, and the one which is indicate that the image is equal to the object size. Now if M is positive and the less than 1, it is a convex mirror. If I say that the M is a positive, means the +1, and it is less than the 1, means positive 0.25, then they identify the mirror, then the answer is convex mirror. If the M is positive but more than 1, means +2, then it is a concave mirror. If the M is negative, then it is a concave mirror. So these all the points you have to keep it in mind. Let's revise one more time. If we are getting the M is a negative, then the image is real. If the M is positive, then the image is virtual. If your HI is equal to HO, that means same size image we get than the object, and if the HI is greater than the HO and then M is greater than 1, means the image is larger than the object, then the M is a more than 1. In that case the image is enlarged. If the HI is less than HO, then the M also less than 1, that means the image is diminished. Now the magnification of plane mirror, that we get the +1. Why? Because +1, here the plus is there, that means the image is virtual one, and the one which is indicate that the image size is equal to the object size. The third one, that if M is a positive and less than 1, then it is a convex mirror, and if M is positive and the more than 1, then it is concave mirror. And the third condition, that if M is negative, it is a concave mirror. Thank you.